Ukraine are my people.
Mm.
And I'm, it's horrible. It's just
Well, of course.
so sad for the United States. Trump has to go.
Absolutely.
They have to. I feel like shooting him. I swear, I hope a bullet goes through his freaking head. And I never say things like that. I don't wish people dead.
Okay, guys, we're starting.
We have to cut all the political stuff now, okay?
We're starting the live stream.
Too much bad energy going on here.
Yeah, so let's keep it to poetry, please, because we're starting the live stream. We're going live.
We don't want to make this a political, whatever. I know how you feel.
Nah.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Amy.
Hey, Beth. Hey, everybody. Jeff. Hi. Ken is in the house. Hey.
Cindy.
Amy. Mona.
I just ran into
Jennifer.
She's out collecting signatures in Chelsea.
Yeah, I'll be collecting signatures tomorrow. I have to work in Queens. I have to go back to work.
I'm working today and tomorrow. I mean, reading a client's manuscript, not heavy duty stuff, but I'm working. I'm taking time off for the reading.
See, what time is it now? 2:06.
2:06. Got another 9 minutes.
Okay.
The live stream is going.
Okay.
I think it is. Actually, it's not showing up as it's going, so I'm wondering what's going on. Let me do it again.
Okay.
No, it says it's going.
Okay. So can I read this? It's not intended as politics. This is not political.
Oh, the statement. Yeah, sure.
We start every reading like this, but it means even more now. That's all I'll say. We acknowledge that the land I am calling from is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and now the home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. And we do that. We've been working away since.
Carol, I didn't have the recording on. You're gonna.
That's okay. That's okay, as long as everyone heard it.
It's live. Yeah. It's live stream, but I won't. I don't do the recording till 2:15.
That's fine. That's fine. As long as I did my duty, because we've been reconciling for the years when all the children were taken for residential schools and the whole generation was raised against their own communities. And now there's a reconciliation process that's going on, and it's thorough. It's all across the country and everybody's doing it. So all the artistic events and creative events start that way.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Elizabeth has joined us.
Everybody.
I see Brenda Cottrell is on. Hi, Josephine. Hey, Jack.
Paris. Okay. Bonjour. Bon nuit.
Yeah. Have the gallery. There's the gallery.
All the cherries in the house.
Hi, Carla.
Hi.
Hi, Mona.
Joanne. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Erica.
Yeah. There, Mona.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my God, the doggy.
There he is.
Yay.
Hello.
Where's doggy?
Hey, dog.
Where's your doggy?
Hey, dog. Tony. Tony. Hey, Tony.
Patty, I just resumed the recording, so you can start at any time. We've already got 27 folks in the house.
Okay, guess a lot of people not gonna be coming. Okay. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Brownstone Poets. It's a balmy day here in Brooklyn or wherever you are. Hopefully weather's good. Give yourself a round of applause. We're here. This happy Black History Month, happy Women's Month, National Women's Month. We're here to celebrate poetry and three awesome ladies here. We have Kim Brandon in the house, Martina McGowan, and Glenda Pickens. And thank you, Roxanne Hoffman of Zoommeister. And thank you all for being here, for sharing. Okay, just want to give you the rules. The chat is a friendly place to comment, positive comments. Also to place your upcoming readings, place your book orders, whatever. Enjoy, and so happy to see everybody here. Since one of our features, Kim Brandon has to leave early, we're going to have we're going to start with 8 open micers first, and then we're going to have Kim Brandon come on around 3:50, quarter to 3, and then we're going to come on, and then we're going to have Martina, and then we're going to have I guess a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have Glenda read after the 50-minute break, and then the rest of the open. So we're going to start. Pam Mitchell, is she here? No. Anu isn't here.
I think she's muted.
Anu? Are you reading? Anybody who signed up to anybody who registered was automatically on the open list. Please tell me if you don't want to read.
Oh, hi, Mike. Hi, Amy.
Hey.
You don't have to.
Pam Mitchell, are you here? Is Anu here?
I'm here, but I'm Denise because a new vision is my business.
Okay, so Denise, do you want to read?
No, ma'am.
Huh?
I'm here for supporting my mom, Glenda.
Okay, no problem. Jeanette Brown, are you here? Do you want to read? Sharon Jones, are you here?
Not here.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna. Brenda, are you here? Brenda Kindle? Holy moly!
She's here. She has to unmute.
Unmute if you're here. I'd like to have you read if you like.
She's still on.
Okay, that's my sister, and she's not reading. And
Okay.
she doesn't. I don't think she can see.
So
they
that's
didn't know
Brenda.
that they automatically go on the list.
Okay, Harvey. Harvey wants to read. Carrie's here. Amy, Cindy, Elizabeth, Josephine, Mona. Okay, Angela, are you here? You want to read, Angela?
No, my daughter. She's not reading.
Okay, Sean Waters, do you want to read?
No.
Okay. Carla Cherries wants to read. Beth's here. Jeff. Kate's here. David Bridges, are you here?
No, he's not here.
Okay. Okay, we're going to stop it there. Okay. We're going to have Harvey Sauce, Carrie Radner, Amy Barone, Cindy Hockman, Elizabeth Morse, Josephine LeRae. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, Mona. And we're going to end with Carla Cherry for the first round. Okay.
I want to read.
Okay, good. I have you guys down. Okay, that'll be the second.
You do? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Harvey, would like to unmute and share?
Sure. Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay, fine. How much time is it again?
3 minutes.
Okay. Let me know if I have anything left after this. I guess what's going on in Ukraine, reminded me somewhat of what had gone on in Nazi Germany, and the attempts thereafter to try and bury history. It's called Reclamation Project, and the epigraph is "How quickly they forget."
Hmm.
I can smell the blood this ground is soaked in, squishy underfoot as honey cake in the rain. It boils up through fissures, a hot spring of paupers and prophets, a soul soup of lost generations, missing rungs in the ladder of my forebears, names that are sung cantorially on Holocaust Remembrance Day. Unmown grasses tug at my boots, hands of children, as a mass grave regurgitates its dead. Stars by the trainload, unpinned from sleeves of the deceased, yellow overhead as if on a dimmer. In this sad clown place where in an earlier time I would have been standing just the other side of barbed wire, there exists not so much as a glimmer of hopefulness, despite turgid efforts of spin doctors, all of the plastic surgeon variety, to give it a new face. Engaging landscapers, employing subtle yet effective measures to hide from us bone bits of its hitman identity, its shamefully buried history. Multi-use development with kiddie pool and park arises non-pro-tunk where SS piranha once swarmed seeking flesh, its camouflaging plum trees more suggestive of Slivovitz than of Auschwitz. We didn't know echoes hollowly off rows of newly planted saplings, off slides and swing sets, the masquerade in full swing, and couldn't have done anything about it if we had known, as close to a confession as descendants of survivors are likely to get, from goose steppers and bottle blondes yoked unwillingly, as they tell it, into submission by one man's will. I stop a while to adjust a bootlace atop a half-filled ditch, its rumored destiny being what the British might call a football pitch. The earth there waiting to be kicked at, having settled uncomfortably into a grimace of the sort that likely preceded Edvard Munch's The Scream, any of his several versions of a woman's iconic agony at the news of the death of a soldier's son, or perhaps of her own unwanted pregnancy and abandonment, or some other triggering event, standing transfixed under a fresh squeezed orange sky as I do now in the crepuscular hour, orange turning to black, wondering whose face it is, or what family of faces I've been stepping on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Carrie, would you like to unmute and share?
Thank you so much. This poem was inspired by Susanna Case's post on Facebook about the gates. It's a 20th anniversary of it. So I posted back saying, yeah, I remember. And so I wrote down like a little poem, which became the middle stanza of this new poem. So this is it. Remembering the gates. A picture of us, bundled up in the cold, we smiled in front of the gates. I was blonde then, no gray streak. Before we were married, we were gooey in love. You kept the picture of us on your work desk for years. Do you still keep it there? Sometimes the saffron flags and flaps still flutter in my dreams. We walked for hours in the park. The snow was packed tight on the walkways as we crossed underneath the fabric in doorways where the wind danced with drops of sunlight. But I felt warm holding your hand. I wondered about the future as we wandered along. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very nice.
Excuse me, Patricia, did you mention my name? Because I couldn't hear anything.
Because I'm only doing like the first 8 before we go to the features, okay? You'll be
Sure.
ready.
Okay,
Please.
I just didn't
Okay.
know. Okay, thank you.
Okay, everybody who's not reading, please mute, okay? Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Okay, thank you. Amy, would you like to unmute and share?
I'm going to read 3 short poems from my new manuscript called Tree Songs. His Golden Messenger. Agents of temptation since biblical times, snakes stand for danger, death, rain, birth, passion, forever. Sea serpents battled gods and heroes. After death, Medusa with her helical hair retained magical powers. Serpent Queen Catherine de' Medici used guile to hold on to France. In the Garden of Eden, Cosmic snakes clung to the tree of life. A Naga shielded Buddha from an approaching storm. Like Catherine, I slide on jasmine perfumed gloves, dance with snakes alongside the Hopi near desert willows as we summon cloud spirits to replenish Earth's bounty. Sapphire sighs. Weeping beech trees' branches brush against the sun's carpet as I endure the hazards of overthinking. I deified someone when she lost her voice and freedom in her golden years. Traumatized by the cry, not a frenzied elk bugling, but a deep wail and dry tears in the moment she realized life would never be the same. I slay this fierce bout of grief, banish the question no one could answer. What did she understand? And my last piece is called Rings. Timelines, weather vanes, and signs of decay. New tree rings spring each year. They define struggles with bugs and fire, age, health, and climate change. Wide rings sing to a warm, wet year. Fine ones mark a cold, dry spell. Adding a new layer of wood to a trunk, maybe thousands of years old. Earth's gems are land memories, the key to a tree's history. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And just to reiterate, if you're not reading, please mute. And it's 3 minutes to read on the open mic, those who are joining us right now. Okay, next up we have Cindy Hockman. After Cindy will be Elizabeth Moss. And then we're going to have Josephine Moray, Mona. And we're going to end with Carla Cherry for this round. And we're going to go directly into the features because one of our features has to leave early. But we're going to come back with the open. So don't worry, you're signed up. You'll be reading. Thank you. Cindy, please unmute and share.
Okay. I think I'm going to stay away from politics this time around. Instead, I'm going to read the short poem that I sent around to Brevitas this morning. It seemed to get a good response, and so Amy and Patty have heard it. I think you're the only brevetarians here. It's a very old poem. It's from my first chapbook, Wednesday's Child. I probably wrote this when I was in my 20s. Back then I called it prolificity, but I don't think that's a word. So I changed it to words all over the place. This morning I woke with poetry dribbling out of my head, into the cat's bowl, into the toilet, following me from room to room. I found a poem in my oatmeal and 2 sandwiched between thick slices of whole wheat bread. I awoke with my bones creaking in iambic pentameter and fell asleep in a bowl of alphabet soup. Thanks.
Thank you, Cindy. Beautiful. Next up is Elizabeth Moss.
My mother's travels. My mother traveled the road of history, and she barely even drove. Vehicular violence is so American, she said, like rhubarb pie or unrestricted guns. Did transportation schedules move backwards? My mother made sure that they did. She was the tour guide, the acting professor, explaining reflections in the road. Transportation to both lighter and darker eras. The hours whirred faster and faster, even snagging a speeding ticket. Vehicles slid backwards and onto dirt roads. My mother is now history, like the outdated train and bus schedule kept in her purse. She was a reflection in the road, her surviving wisdom viewed often.
Thank you. Maria, could you change your name, please? Thank you. Thank you so much. Josephine, you want to share?
Yeah, hi. Just to follow up on the land acknowledgement that we heard before the recording started. I live in Calgary, which is the ancestral traditional land of the Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, which include the Dene, the Nakota, the Kainai, the Siksika, their antecedents and their predecessors. And so the poems I'm going to share today, I wrote when I was visiting California, which is the land of the Kuneyaye. I think I've got that right. So here we go. These are fresh. Just a moment. Okay. The first one is called The Pelican's Prayer. Pacific, the sky, the color of water, the color of faded slate, gunmetal, gloom, high tide, no sand visible, water smashing on rocks at the bottom of these cliffs, relentless, spumes rising in gray air. On their bellies in dolphin skins, surfers paddle out toward the breaking of the waves, their morning communion. A young woman in a red bikini, surfboard in hand, walks along the shore, looking for the moment and the courage to go in. The waves relentless, the sea claiming, driven by the waxing moon, the tide high. Above the edge of surf, water crests again and again before the breaking of bread, water into wine. A battalion of pelicans in line formation glide north, then circle back, their beaks a linger of their prehistoric selves. Gliding, leaning in to dip the tips of wings in the sacred spray of the sea, a holy baptism. The second one is called Winds. The wind, sorry. Irascible, the wind last night, though we in our beds were not supposed to notice. Fronds of palms waved like inauguration, sand whipped up from the beach, carried over fences and rail tracks. Birds jostled in their nests. We woke to a thin film on the patio, on the cars, and the moon. She tried to hide her smile, but I could feel it, a smirk really, as she summoned the tide, so that for one cruel moment it felt like the ocean held its breath. The sun, before sinking, hid behind cloud, then poked its peach below the smudge line. When watched, a sunset takes forever and is over in a second. That's just the way of the sun, the way of the wind. And if there's time, I'd read another short one.
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this one is called The Sequence. No peace to the sea. These waves, puppets dangling from the moon's unseen strings, pushed and pulled, lowered and yanked, never having the chance to catch their breath. Along the stony shoreline, broken shells, the crushed tail of a lobster, legs and carapace of a half-eaten crab, a dented sand dollar, and a portion of a mollusk. Fibonacci's secrets exposed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful poetry.
Thank
Okay,
you. And
since we have more people coming in,
can I just say that I was treated so kindly and so lovingly when I was in the States, and my heart's with all of you.
thank you so much. I appreciate this. Okay, we're gonna have Carla Cherry, and I'm gonna also bring on a few more people because it's only 2:30. I'm gonna Carla Cherry next, and then Beth, Jeff, and Kate. Okay, take it away, Carla.
All right, thank you. So this is a poem that I'm working on, and it's called At 149th and Grand Concourse. Leave me alone, she yelled, struck the chest of a boy before she got off the train. Half asleep, I'd been too relieved to get that woman's seat to see her leer at him. Do you know her? The woman sitting next to him asked. He shook his head. It was his round eyes gone wide, his book bag tight between his knees that made me think of my son and ask, are you okay? He nodded yes, and still I wished I could have blocked her slaps. Just a few weeks before, he, 5.5 feet of scruff, scowling, cigarette smoking, leaning against a blue construction wall on the right side of the platform. Me, taller, well-fed, pink lungs, tight face that says don't. That 24-inch wide catwalk. Two slender people with steady ankles, good balance, can walk the 10 feet of it if they turn their body sideways. 2 seconds to know I will not walk past him. All he has to do is push. The tightness of my knees and ankles say no, I am not strong enough, quick enough to scramble, pull myself off the tracks before I become another subway story. I cough, squeeze past the crowd on the left side. What is it behind these blue construction walls? A new elevator? How much longer must we, parents, children, students, teachers, nurses, construction workers, drivers, suffer? Fluorescent lights illuminating peeling paint, mosaic signs defeated by grime, trails of blackened gunk underneath our feet as we scooch. I slam the emergency door open, whiz past the toll booth clerk, whose good morning never brightens this dungeon of a station leading to exhaust-filled air. I start to tell the 5 cops, 4 National Guardsmen at the exit about the 5'6" man with the cigarette, mangy mustache and beard, navy blue hat and jacket, who could have pushed me off the platform. But I have 7 minutes before I get docked. My right to breathe disrespected, I still, as I dodge the phalanx of cars, pray, like I did for that woman who hit an innocent boy, that their family find them and comfort them. This melange of misery, will there ever be enough saviors? See something, say something. This poem, here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carla. Thank you. We're going to move on to Beth. Beth, please unmute and share.
Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm glad you mentioned it's the beginning of International Women's Month. So I'm going to read a poem about women's strength. It comes from a new book coming out this month called A Yellow Notebook. It's a collaborative hybrid, blending my father's final writings with my poems. And this first one comes from the section on family. And it's very much like Natalie Cole's duet mix with her father. So this one is called Fanny, Fanny, Get Me Out, and Fanny was my mother's name. We ran towards a terrified cry coming from the stone fireplace he was building at the end of the patio. My father had miscalculated, encased himself in the tapered walls of the near-finished chimney flue. The only parts of his body still visible from the ground were his face and neck, crimson, drenched in sweat from trying to free himself. His arms splayed out across either side of the chimney like the wings of a crippled airplane at the end of a runway, useless, immobile and trapped. The three of us gathered crowbars, hammers, pipe irons, anything to break through the hardening cement and release him. And so my sister and I and my mother did. Enough to allow my father to haul himself over the rubble, reach his ladder, collapse on the deck chair while we snickered. Not the only time the women in his life laughed at his quixotic projects, but my father persevered. Despite momentary humiliation, he finished a fireplace envied by all his neighbors. Lounging by the fire on late summer nights, we three and him sat listening to Brahms on the shortwave until the flames of that tenacious hearth died out. Thanks a lot. And I'm going to put some notes about the new book coming out very soon in the chat. Lovely reading today, as always.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna okay, thank you. Let's see, I don't know how many we're gonna take now because I'm worried about the time. Yeah, I'll just take one more. I'm sorry, Kate, we'll put you in the next round because I gotta have Kim read. Jeff, please unmute and share.
Okay, so in Cork, Ireland, they have the O'Vale series, which has the 5-word poetry challenge. And I participate every month via Zoom and once in person, actually. They get 5 words from the audience, and you have to write a poem in 15 minutes with the 5 words. So I'll read, just for fun, I'm going to read a couple of my entries. This one I did in September. I call it The Broken Tree, and the words were shadow, broken, insane, evergreen, family. My evergreen tree was broken in 3. A new family of tree pieces, see? A freak lightning flash tripled the shadow it cast. It drove me insane, since my petty little brain couldn't fathom a tree that was broken in 3. What now? I bellowed to a host of random fellows. Are there 3 moons now, overleapt by 3 cows? Are there 3 Taj Mahals, 3 sets of Niagara Falls? Are there 3 Eiffel Towers? The mere thought made me cower. They gave me some Ritalin to calm all my fits and then committed me away. But now I'm okay. I swear I'm feeling fine. I have a new tree. It's a pine. So that was from September, and this one is from earlier in the month. We got the words change, repression, maps, butterfly, and joy, and I call this Repression Cured. During my latest therapy session, the doc said I was full of repression. You can't keep it all inside, he said. Your unresolved issues will make you dead. I said my life was devoid of joy. This has to change, he cried. My boy, just trust me in my therapist role, and I'll create maps through your soul to find the glee you're looking for. The session, frankly, was a bore. He folded ink stains on a sheet of paper. As shorter than a heartbeat, he asked, What do you see right here? I said, A butterfly, so clear. That's not a good response, my friend. This bleak neurosis has to end. Come back each day at 2 o'clock. Each session's just $2,000. Oh, fuck that shit. I slapped his face. I'll never come back to this place. And after that, I felt all right. I no longer repressed my spite. So both of those were written in 15 minutes. You can probably tell.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Jeff. We're going to move on to the first reader here. We're going to go on to the features right now. Sorry about this. I'm sorry about Mona. I'll have you in the first round. I'm just having a lot of trouble with some of these people who claim that they don't get their links. And I can't keep going back and forth, it's too much. Kim Brandon is a poet, artist, activist, and storyteller. Her work has been included in stage performances, anthologies, and journals. This year, her work was included in Perogine's Black Poets Speak collection. She is a 2021 Brooklyn Poets Poet of the Week and a VONA alumnus. She has attended Wild Seed retreats and Cave Con Kana writers' workshops. She is the founder of Brooklyn Society Writers Group and the host of writing workshops for people of color. This year, her work centers on the revolutionary power of Black love. She is hoping to publish her first poetry collection, Real Honey, in I don't know. Hope the publisher let me know if it's been published, because I have an old bio. So
Okay.
hopefully she's going to be publishing her collection, Red Honey. Let's give a warm Brownstone welcome to Kim Brandon. Take it away.
Okay, let me just, hi everybody, I just want to set my timer. Hi everybody, I am Kim Brandon, and I just want to say thank you so much, Patricia, for all that you do for this community. It is so wonderful to have this. Thank you so much, Roxy, for your support. Brownstone Poets, the two of you. Okay, so what I'd like to do is, I think I'm going to start by reading this dicey little story, and then I'll jump into the poetry with whatever time I have left. So I think that'll work out fine. Okay, little story, where are you? Okay, you know what? I'll start with the poetry, because so I wasn't sure what poems to read today, because it's so much going on in the world. And I was just like, you want to be silly when everyone else is not? And so I could be, but I won't. I think the first poem is Who Says the Mirror Doesn't Lie? When it never says watch and listen to what is not said. At Mama's big top circus, the look at me glass is warped. The glass is warped and waxed with betrayal. When the looking glass never says, "You're all right, baby," then that glass lies. The truth is a lie when covered by omission. You are not deformed by birth order, poverty, hue, or circumstance. When that glass never says, "You are right, baby," it lies. When it never says, "Be still, feel the breath of the Almighty." Things are not as they appear. "You all right, baby?" If it doesn't say "you all right, baby," it lies. When it never says, "You have survived your mother's haunted house ride, baby," then it lies. When it never says, "Your big, beautiful heart, a plump, beating black miracle, has grown monarch wings and is about to fly." When it never says, "Take up your bed and walk," better still, you no longer need that kind of sleep. Leave it there, baby. Leave it there. Leave it right there. When it never says, "Let your reflection say your truth, baby." You are not a kaleidoscope of distortions. Trace your devotion along the edge of a blooming soul. Find the image with your eyes closed. Leave the shell of your crevice as you would yesterday's ill-fitted orthotics as proof. When the mirror never says, "You're okay, baby," that mirror lies, because you're okay, baby. So I just want to say to us, we're okay, baby. The next poem. Okay. Don't you love that moment when your shitty little narcissist is forced down from their imaginary perch, the one they built by standing on the fingers of children? Chance and circumstance blowing a heavy wind, a crack in the kingdom beyond repair. And because they don't know humility, they are forced to eat that same meat that they left out in the sun, carelessly rotting. And still your face was smashed into it. Don't you love that moment when your shitty little narcissist faces themselves in a mirror? They squint. They turn away from the real reflection. They cry out to their gods to save them from their own hand. They light the last matchstick. Don't you just love that moment when your shitty little narcissist crashes into reality hard and there is no soft cushion, no innocent backs of babies for them to land on? Don't you love that moment when they cry out, when they are contorted by the same old promises in a bag of rock sugar, when they beg and plead, please, please, please let me climb up and walk on you, or maybe you could carry me? Oh, sweet darling, they say, all my bridges have been torched. Don't you love that moment when you realize that you are the magic? You are free. Don't you love that moment when you finally walk away? And this poem I'm dedicating to Lucille Clifton. I just love her. Every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. All the weapons are pointed at me. Me, this glistening gold rod of truth. Me, this heavy lifter. Me, the vote that breaks the tie. Me, the breast that milks another mother's child. Me, the tub washer. Me, the chicken neck wringer. Me, the lightning fly caught in a jar. Me, the eighth student. Me, the pretty one considered to be a beast of burden. Every day I sleep, I nap, I dance, I replenish the little green stream that is in me, this same stream that flows behind a White House. Every day I plan and I scheme and I teach and I lecture and I raise the bar. And when all the weapons are pointed at me, I do a cakewalk, a capiara wheelbarrow out of harm's way sometimes. Mama says, stay out of eyesight. She says, stay out of eyesight. That's where it's safer, child. Mama say, don't let them go up under your skirt. But they have been up under my skirt, Mama. They have been under my skirt. Mama, they have been under my skirt. Do you hear me? The victory, Mama says. The victory. Aim for the victory, she says. It is every day, every day, every day. Do you hear me, Mama? Do you hear me? All the weapons are pointed at me. Something has tried to kill me and has failed, Mama, failed to take my breath away, failed to close my eyes for good, trade my vision, my body, my tomorrows for a fistful of dollars, Mama. Mama, I'm always fighting something, Mama. Do you hear me, Mama? So I'll do two more poems and then I think I will stop. You know what? I think I have time to read my little story. If I can get it to open. Give me 1 second. Here it is. And this doesn't fit anywhere, but I love this little story. And I wrote this week, and it's from a prompt. And here it goes. It might be more story than poem, but here it goes. She's a liar and a cheat. That's what it's called. Whenever I get sent to my room, my ears perk up and my eyes get big like fly saucers. Because I know that grown folk stuff is going to be said. So I got into my hidden spot, the crack behind the kitchen door. Mama went from wringing her hands to scratching her head when she looked over at my oldest brother. We call him Big Little. My youngest brother, we call him Little, but that's another story. Big Little, he found himself in love again with another gal, another liar, another cheat. This time it was Fast Hand Susie. Turns out that Fast Hand Susie was rounded up by the police. She was taken down to the courthouse because some money was missing. Word was that Fast Hand might have mentioned that BL, Big Little, was holding the money. The police say that BL had 3 days to come up with the money, or he was going to be rounded up and put in jail too. I heard Mama say, this ain't your first time lying, laying down with some stealing, low down, highfalutin backdoor trash. You keep bringing that stuff up in my house. Why you always got to find those bottleneck girls? Why you always got to have a hole in your bucket, son? And you shoveling all that sand in them holes, baby. All you got to do is put on a clean shirt. That's all you got to do. Go down to the church house on Sunday morning, and you can have your pick of all the pretty girls, maids, cooks, school teachers, girls with clean hands and clean bottoms. But oh no, not you. You need a piece of fast tail. From what I could tell you, boy, there ain't nothing new between the sheets, son. Any trick a nasty girl can teach you, the next nasty girl already taught it to you. The thing you don't seem to understand, boy, by you going out for those circus-ass, fire-eating, acrobatic hoes, is that it ain't love and it ain't free. They see you coming. All they see is a sign that says, suck a lick here. They always taking your last dollar. I gotta hide my pocketbook so you don't put my coins in the bearded lady's bosom. Bill stood up, about to say something in the defense of his romantic inclinations. Mama raised one finger and says, shh, don't you say a word. Don't you say not one word. Wasn't it enough that I had to carry you down to Dr. Phillips' office to get rid of that nasty girl disease? Had you twitching and scared you was going to lose your eyesight. Hell, the treatment cost me $17 and you ain't paid me back that yet. Now, Mama walks over to where he was standing. So this is how things are going to go now. Find yourself a good little thing. Maybe she got a room and a bed that she could share with you. But for today, I ain't hiding you from the law. And I ain't going to go hat in hand asking the neighbors to come up with no missing money. They were quiet for a few minutes before Mama says, facts is, you ain't steal no money. And if you did steal the money, I bet you didn't keep it. You bought fast hands, Susie, those new red shoes, didn't you, boy? And they caught her walking away in those same red shoes, headed down to the railroad tracks with another man on her arm. Mama looked like she was starting to feel sorry for BL now. I bet you feel real proud of yourself out right now. But don't you fret. Don't you worry none. Things have a way of working themselves out. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a bag with some herbs under your pillow. Trust and believe. I will do it right. And after that, you better move right. You pick up another one of those highfalutin tricksters, you keep on reenacting those Jezebel songs playing on repeat. Herb's gonna push her away from you now. Them same herbs, they gonna take the stiff out your mister. See, my medicine work one way or it work another way. Don't you worry none. Don't you fret, son. Mama gonna take care of you. All BL says now, and it was barely a whisper. BL get close to Mama and he said, Mama, Mama, don't help me none. Don't put nothing in my bed. Please, Mama, don't put nothing in my bed. Thank you, and with that, I'll pass. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. At least you'll be right. Okay, just in time. You sure? Yeah, I want to do one more. It's 2:54.
I would love to do one more, and this is for everybody here. I would love to read Langston Hughes, if that's okay. A mother to son, and I think this is something that always helps me out. So I just want to read it to everybody. Well, son, I tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up. places with no carpet on the floor bare. But all the time I've been climbing on, I've been reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So don't you turn back now. Don't you sit down on the steps because you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fail now, because I still going, honey. I still climbing. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. We made it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brownstones. Okay, now we're going to move on to Martina McGowan. And after Martina McGowan, we're going to go to the 50-minute break, and we promise we're going to get Mona and whoever didn't read. The rest will be the, we're going to do, anyway, after we get back from our break, we're going to have Glenda come on. We'll let you know, Glenda, when we take our break so you can tell your daughter. And after Glenda finishes, we're going to have the rest of the open. So we're rolling here. Martina McGowan, MD, physician, poet, writer, artist, advocate, activist in the wars against social, racial, and sexual injustices. She is the author of I Am the Rage, February 2021 Source Books, and is an award-winning winner in the social change category of the 2021 International Book Awards. She is listed by the American Academy of Poets for a poetry reading list for the 25th anniversary of National Poetry Month 2021 and a poetry reading list for summer 2021. Women's Day has her listed among the 20 of the best poetry books to read in 2021. Martina McGowan is the poetry editor for the Elevation Review magazine, with work appearing in several literary magazines and anthologies. Let's give a warm Brownstone welcome to Martina McGowan. Take it away.
Thank you, Patricia. I must have sent you an old bio as well, because I have 2 books, but we'll come to that. Thank you and Kim for inviting me. It's been a wonderful reading so far. That was awesome, Kim. I loved your story. I wish I could write prose like that, but I've learned to stay in my lane. I'm going to open with a poem that's not mine. You guys have heard it many times, and I think I'll use it as my opener for the next 4 years, probably. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. And that's by Reverend Niemiller. I will start with the anchor poem from my first book, I Am the Rage. I am the rage. I am the rage, whirling just beneath the surface. I am the dream deferred, again. I am the promises needed and repeated, but never kept. I am the air between light and dark, fueling flames that burn but can neither be consumed nor satisfy its own abiding hunger. I am the glowing embers you continue to poke and prod with meanness that bubbles over onto the streets. I am the ravenous appetite to destroy something, anything. I am the ever-present clanking chains in the belly of the cargo hold, struggling to love myself, a thing you have taught me to loathe. I am the dismal days and inky skies. I am the niggardly feeling that there is not enough, will never be enough. Money, land, freedom, education, life, to satisfy us all. I am the disappointment that breathes hot and silent every time I am dismissed, discharged, dishonored, cast aside, counted as worthless or meaningless. I am the melody that lies inside every Negro spiritual that sings praises of diminishing hopes in this life and a brighter, fairer world in the next. I am the salty tears of anxious mothers, frightened each time her child crosses a threshold, praying for a return that is not guaranteed, like payment of some impossible garnishee on the lives we want for them. I am the dark fiber that runs through our shared history that will not allow you to forget. A constant reminder to us both that I can never go home. I can never find home. I am the rage, running unbridled through the streets. I am the fire this time. I am the rapacious thirst seeking justice for all on these dusky days and obsidian nights. I am the rage that lives within the powder keg of unfulfilled lives, awaiting the spark. I am the rage. I am the lost sheep. I am the muted prayer that we will see each other clearly one day. And a second poem, also from the first book, Ordinary Times. And I usually order just a blanket trigger warning because I don't write about light things generally. What sadness we carry in ordinary times. Deep within our breasts, our hearts threatening to burst, told to breathe, it will make everything better or at least more tolerable. And gaining no relief, we say we cannot breathe inside this thick and foul fog of hatred. What sadness we carry in ordinary times when we hold vigils held in check by people dressed in riot gear with tear gas bombs, flashbang grenades, pepper spray, and bullets, real bullets, while we hold poster board and cardboard signs as shields against mutilation and death. What sadness we carry in ordinary times, beaten with state-sanctioned clubs, electrified and stunned into submission with taser guns, punched with clenched and outraged fists, seeking a target to shatter. What sadness we carry in ordinary times when we reach out to the cosmos thinking we too are one with it, discovering that we are instead an unfortunate parody of mixed but never blended peoples, vilified by all, trying to raise a thin wheel of hope for our children. What sadness we carry in ordinary times, because no matter how gruesome the travesties, how egregious the atrocities, how ludicrous the explanations, how high the body count, and even though we still cannot breathe, these are, after all, only ordinary times. Now move on to the second book, and the name of it is A Sweeter Song. I'll put links in the chat later. 14. Sankofa. Picked from starlight playing in forests, passing through the gates of hell and batacoons, 13 days inside the belly of another beast, highland heather lashed to my DNA. Up from the sticky, sweet sap of stout pines, barbed and prickly cotton, 200 pounds a day, flesh, timber, fluffy bowls, all on the auction block, tumble-down slave quarters turned into homes. From emancipated slaves bearing biblical names, grandmothers dreaming of freedom, crooked, scarred hands corralling the future, sharing stories not found in books. We are from red clay pounded into concrete, hard streets and harder women, doling out wisdom and hard-earned lessons, love buried deep like diamonds, hard to see, sometimes harder to feel. From running across hot, tarry rooftops, wise potato chips and orange knee-highs, marbles, stickball, and flying free from swings before we knew we were prey again. Tiny apartments filled with family, aromas of food from down home, a blessed circle big enough for Jesus wept to be said more than once, smiling eyes cutting, side rolling, waiting for another to say he sure did, risking a finger pluck from one aunt and the death stare from another. Fathers who adored us but drank too much, crushed beneath the world's weight. Brothers who loved too many, others molesting those they could not love. Women standing against the evil tide. From people who learned beating as remedy and correction, pushing their children's hearts away, hoping to save them from corruption, from death. Rising, continuing to imagine worlds better than we received. This is a song woven through many generations, holding one long breath, sharing the story so that others can see that hope thrives inside our pain and that home lives on inside our hearts. Epiphany. The falling leaves become the first winter snow. The chill has crept into my heart. This is the door it always chooses. How I know it's the beginning of the Arctic frost. Disaffection has arrived. Grief mingles with anger and sadness, all struggling to hide below the surface, camouflage drifting just out of sight. I'll not disparage our laughter or joys. We needed each other for a time, but I won't lie to myself again. And though the end comes toward us slowly, I know this drifting cannot be mended. I've tried before and disaster still found us. My heart always longs for better endings. We will be together a bit longer, but in the end, you too will realize I had already slipped from your grasp, you from mine. You simply did not perceive the moment, and there was nothing more to say at the time. And I would be remiss if I didn't have an old poem about the war that we're rewriting history about, even as we move along. Echolalia, written at the beginning of Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. February 24th, a new poem begins. It's the hind end of winter, the pre-dawn of spring. A day of dictators, bloodshed and tears. Franco, Chiang Kai-shek, the Reichstag in ruins, but the date is not important. Rumors of a new war between someone and someone else. Threats of assassination, mass extinction, millions huddled in shattered buildings, wounds hastily wrapped, eyes pleading with us bystanders. Babies tagged, passed onto trains so someone can live beyond today. Others tagged, sent to the front, lights forever dimmed, never to be the same again. Yet, we do not learn, we do not change. Carnage becomes Cold War, the heavy lifting of our hubris borne by the poor, the weak. Nonetheless, we will keep on saying, never again, again and again, although it has lost all meaning. Okay. Translation for my father. One summer day when I was 8, you left for work and never came home. When I was small, I searched for you, never thinking you'd remain in that red clay of home soil so very far from me. I talked to trees and to leaves, to cloudless skies, the heavens, even the walls of my tiny room, hoping you could hear me, see me in spaces that could scarce contain my grief. Not knowing the names of constellations in the blackness and blankness of space, I'd link together several stars with you always as the brightest and talk to you there, akin to praying, but not really. These days, the full spread of wings of eagles or falcons makes me smile. You are there, sometimes flying, racing across the sky, high, majestic, and royal. Sometimes you are here, standing beside me, guarding my heart. As I approach my own translation, moving away from those I will leave behind, beloved and grounded, perhaps I too will become an eagle or something else worthy of remembrance. Not lost. We watch over lives taken, not lost, needing the language to make it easy on the ear, easy on the tongue, easier to swallow whole. Invisible chains binding us all together, greed and vanity no longer concealed beneath the flawed cloak of justice. Is it chance or destiny that some lives are important while others merely fodder for bullets, pointless wars, victimization? Lives not lost, not carelessly misplaced, not dropped like a half-forgotten note from the back pocket of your favorite jeans on wash day. Lives stolen from other human beings. Original sin never far from our hearts, conjuring up fratricide and genocide. Sequestered by careful consideration, early sell-by dates stamped in utero, abominated, abridged lives condemned, especially for those who do not look like, or talk like, or act like, or think like we do, or for no other reason than those lives simply do not matter to us. And I will finish with the anchor poem for the second book, A Sweeter Song. A sweeter song after Etheridge night. You ask for sweeter songs, better rhymes, and lighter melodies, but my poor heart cannot comply, for the truth is all we have on offer. Promises of light-filled days remain empty, lasting happiness in short supply, islands of joy, contentment, sinking in seas of setbacks. I, too, dream of fresh breezes caressing my face, walking white sands, chasing waves, wallowing in wildflower fields, toes dipping carelessly into cool creeks, basking in moonlight beneath a blanket of stars. Awaiting the opening of asylum doors, co-signing my sluggish freedom, anxious to release the sorrow, the heartache, and watch them float away. Some other day, I shall sing to you of peace and love and hope. Some other day I shall write of beauty and nature, but not this day. Today, I am but a canary caught in life's coal mine, inhaling double doses of air so that you may breathe. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh my God, what amazing reading so far. The open, and then we have the two of our features reading. Amazing, awesome. Thank you. Roxy, do you want to go on a break now, or should we take like one or two more open micers? You're muted, darling.
Take a few open micers.
Okay.
Because it's only 3:12.
Okay, so what time do you want to go for the break?
3:30.
3:30. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Mona, okay, I'm going to read off who's going to be in the open, and we'll try to keep it 3 minutes. Mona, let's see, Kate, Eric, David Bridges, I don't think you're here. I think, what's her name wants to leave early. Okay, anybody wants to leave early? I think Maria wants to leave early. Okay, we'll have Maria come on after Kate. Erica, are you reading?
No, I am not. No, I am not. Thank you so much. I'm
Okay,
here in
darling.
support of my
Okay,
mother, Glenda. Thank you.
Laura's gonna read. Okay. Carol. Okay. We'll stop. Okay, we'll go by that. Okay. Mona, take it away.
Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, everyone. I'm just gonna read one piece, which is in honor of Women's Month. This is an ekphrastic piece after Georgia O'Keeffe's Lake George shanty, and I'm gonna read as an epigraph her own words about the piece and the reason why I chose it. The clean, clear colors of a Lake George shanty were in my head, but one day as I looked at the brown, burned wood of the shanty, I thought, I can't paint one of those dismal color paintings like the men. I think, just for fun, I will try. All low-toned and dreary with a tree beside the door. In my next show, the shanty went up. The men seemed to approve of it. They seemed to think that maybe I was beginning to paint. That was my only low-toned, dismal-colored painting. So my poem, in response to this. We have met here in another life, in this shanty near Lake George and those dreary colors. We seem to return towards that time, the barn door open. What is there to take, one could say, but the breath of dry grasses? How could it be, circled as they are from above and below by so much water? Brown, burnt wood, dark windows. Only the thin, white frame suggests the possibility of flowing. Let it open, left, right. Inside a boat, maybe, and the pulling of oars, like men do it. Like men do. We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, we women of many moods. Women, we who breathe red from the womb of our mothers. Women, we who exude light from breast shapes like mountains green. Women, we who shape our voices around shades of primal, infinite blue. We, gray mystified in the shadow of men. Forget the leaking roof. Winds are a-changing. Pick up the brush and say yes to the brown shanty's tenuous passage through our visceral flow. How can we not see in the dull sky the possibility of water? The tumult in our veins prescribe tributary hints of future efflorescence. I'm on my way in this new space. Can you imagine the calm waters and the reflection of the evening sun? The moon full and pink and expectant. None of these are seen yet in the shanty's dismal colors. Only this patience. Manure turns time into blossoms. Color is our work. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Okay, next will be Kate, and then after Kate will be Maria, who has to leave early, and then we're gonna have Deborah. Take it away, Kate. Please keep it to 3 minutes. Thank you, guys. We have a lot of people.
Unmute. Oh, hello.
Kate? Kate?
Hello, hello. Start my video. Not stop. Start it. View my profile. There we go. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have a profile thing mode up here. Okay, very good. Thank you for having me. I just happy May Day. Happy May 1st. It's the May Day support of the working class. So let's go. Let's go where we need to go. It's International Workers' Day. It's European spring. Happy May Day. Oh, so I read somewhere that we were going to talk about pets. I must have looked at a wrong list, but I have something to share with you. So, happenstance on a weekend camping trip. I fell in love with Jennifer. She was so easy to get along with. A St. Bernard, only 10 months old. A precocious med student complained his demanding schedule and the responsibility of a pet in Boston was really a little bit difficult, especially the size she would become. Then I heard she was to be surrendered. I called the med student, and since no one had adopted her, I did. My van found the way to her doorstep. I was in love with Jennifer for over 15 years.
walking along the Charles River every morning and every evening, with autumn's changing colors, enticed travel to enchanted Franconia Notch. Of course, Jennifer came with me everywhere. Then a gaggle of gals, we all joined together. Each of them had their special dog. 10 total loaded into my van, and off we went to the Great Divide of Colorado. We went to every parcel of land that had some definition of attraction to us. This gaggle of gals, this group of dogs. We went everywhere in New Mexico, in Arizona. We went up through Utah, and then we got back up to the western slope of Colorado, and that gaggle of gals and their dogs all split up. And I came to Colorado, and I've been here for 50 years, and I love it. And I still love pets. And pets are something that sometimes in some families, they're just the dog on a chain in the backyard. In other places, those pets mean everything to us. So it started for me when I had to have surgery on my mouth in New York City. And when I woke up from that surgery at my grandmother's house in Flushing, I said, Daisy, Daisy, where's Daisy? And that was the first thing I thought about being about 10 months old myself then, was I wanted to see my grandmother's dog, Daisy. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Glad you're able to come. Okay, at the Kate, since Maria has to leave, Maria, unmute and share.
Yes. This is beautiful to be here, and it is the beginning of the Women's History Month, Poetry Month. I am a feature next Sunday at Creative Expressions. More about that. So I'm honoring somebody. Teresa Ahumada Cepeda de Ávila. I will speak to you who came from far to this my Avila, to see my dried up sandal and my defiant bone, the phalanges of my right middle finger, the only bone not stolen by the Holy Fathers for their reliquaries. See this relic of my flesh, desecrated by this emerald that I never wore in life. Do you see this spot? Here he came to me, and it was sweetness. What do you think was that fragrance lingering in my inviolate body that so drew the clerics? His fragrance in me. You call me Santa. What did I do? All I wanted was to fight the Moors, like in the romances of chivalry, and to have a swain rescue me from the crenellated heights. I was just a woman whose dream came true. Gracias.
Gracias. Beautiful. Okay. We're going to have Deborah. Please unmute and share.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, today is the first day of March and the beginning of Women's History Month. So I will read I Am Woman. And these are titles of songs and programs about women. I am every woman shades of chocolate, hues of brown, suntan lightness and chestnut and mahogany bright. I'm a black magic woman, the beauty of the night. I'm a do-right woman, an African-American delight. You see, I'm 3 times a lady, by far that's me, and I'm working hard for my money as I earn an academic degree. I'm a clean-up woman behind my man. I'm a Wonder Woman in God's plan. A bionic woman, a scientific plan at work, practicing and studying and sometimes going berserk like a voodoo woman, a voodoo woman, a detective working hard, a police woman, a masterpiece, a woman doing her job. You know, I've been told that all women are healers across the face of the earth, attaining and maintaining like a spiritual rebirth, having conversations with God and speaking in tongues and healing God's children, each and every one. So we need to be energized like natural women should, getting rest to be refreshed, to be pampered and made to feel good, like the phenomenal woman that we are sometimes misunderstood. Well, I'm talking to you, woman to woman, just like a sister who cares should. So, sisters, if you feel this way anytime throughout the year, stand up, acknowledge another sister, and then show a brother or woman who's real. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have.
Excuse me, Patricia, did I miss my turn?
No, you didn't. It's when you sign up, that's when you're on the list. Unless you
Oh,
got
okay. I have to leave in a little while, but thank you.
Okay, Roxy, should we go into the break now, or should we just take one more? I can't hear you.
We have 3 minutes. It's not 3:30 yet. Or is it
Okay.
after? Yeah.
You want to read, Dorothy? You want to? I'll get you out of the way since you have to leave early. Okay.
Dorothy, can you unmute?
Dorothy, unmute. You can read. You got 3 minutes. Since you have to leave early. Thank you.
Okay, so I particularly wanted to come to this reading because of the overlap between Black History Month and Women's History Month, of course. So I'm going to read on dependency and loving. Okay. Okay. I did have a short poem by Mary Baraka that was quite wonderful, but given the time, but I'm so glad to hear some of the other poems, like the Langston Hughes poem was one of my favorite poems, the Mother to Son poem. Okay. Okay, so on dependency and on loving. There are many ways to be dependent. It is different for a child than it is for a cow, as it is for a mature female or domestic cattle. But whether discussing the female elephant, whale, or any other female animal, all are referred to as cows. To some, dependency suggests laziness, sloppiness, or even stupidity. Others associate it with contentment, as the wife who is content to stay at home and darn her husband's socks. However, most people will agree that the cow is passive compared to the bull, but it is not as easy to determine which is more dependent. After all, one can easily be dependent on a new idea as on a person, as a congressman involved in official writing can be dependent on his secretary, or a poet on composing a new word or form, or a gardener on the blade casing of his lawnmower, or a master on his slaves. There are formal and informal kinds of dependencies. The rebel is dependent on the system she is defying. Robin Hood's on Little John's. mental institutions on crazy people to lock away to keep them from challenging the social order, humans on animals to domesticate. But who is more dependent, the jailer or the jailed? And loving, perhaps in our next life we will love one another. Perhaps there will be this open space in which we will be. Suddenly a woman wonders what happens to love and goes out to look for it, but she cannot find it or recognize it in herself, only in its shadows. And in these shadows, she sees another woman. What is worth celebrating, she wonders as she touches the other woman. Just one or two moments in which we see past ourselves. One woman wonders, how is it that I have never loved or seen past my own face? And the other woman wonders why she has not yet been loved. Even now, our feelings are floating above us as we all have not yet loved, and all we have not yet loved comes and joins us. Thank you. Happy Women's History Day and happy Black History Month, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to take our break now and we'll come back about 15 minutes, Roxy. So
Yeah.
we'll come back like about quarter to four.
Yeah.
Let me read off who's okay, we're going to read off who is, okay, we're going to have Glenda read after we come back. That's around 3:45, right? Right, Roxy? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after Glenda reads, we're going to have the rest of the open. I'm going to read off Caroline DiGiovanni. Susan James, are you reading?
I see Peter is on, Peter Kozlowski.
I'm reading
No,
off.
Susan James is not reading.
Okay, I'm going to be
just
reading off
left.
what's on the list.
Okay.
Mike Jakovic is here. I know Jack Cooper's here. Peter, I know, is here. Amira is here. Augusta, are you reading? Augusta Pickens? I guess no.
No, I'm not reading.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol Kowat? Carl Kowat? Are you reading? Guess not. Richard Spacek, I know, wants to read. Gabriella, do you want to read? I guess she doesn't want to read. Linda Crawford, she here?
No, I don't see Linda. Linda's not on.
Okay, so it would just be me and you, Roxy. So this is what's coming up after Linda reads. We're going to have Caroline Giovanni, Mike Jakovic, Jack Cooper, Peter Kozlowski, Amira Mitra, Richard Spacek, me, and Roxanne. Okay. Shameless plugs. Okay, next month, come back. Really this month because of what happened with February. On March 29th, we're going to be back here. We're going to have the Broadstone Books people reading. We're going to have Gerald Wagner, Lynn McGee, Hilary Sedaris. And anybody interested in the, I'm going to put in the chat the Sense and Sensibility information right now.
Yeah, your new issue is out, right, Patricia?
Yeah, new issue, but I'm taking submissions as of today. So let me get that information out here if I can find it. Bear with me.
I think we have a couple of people with new books coming out. Beth has a new book coming out. I think she's taking pre-orders, and she put the info in the chat.
Let me just cutting and pasting. Because unfortunately, this thing doesn't take the whole thing. I have to do it in two.
Anybody going out this afternoon, just watch out because the fierce winds are coming back with a big cold front.
It's very, very
It's
windy
brutal
here.
out there.
It is. I can feel it coming through the windows here.
Yeah. Up
It's
on the
not
Hudson,
exactly a nice day.
our windows are starting to rattle like crazy up here in the Hudson. So just be careful tonight.
I'm glad I'm home.
I can see a tree.
I have to go to work tomorrow. I got the call while I was trying to do the reading.
Yep.
Like, give me a break.
Why don't you just put the link instead of all the information? Just put the link where they can find out.
I just did. I'm just going through emails now.
Okay.
No, I already did everything.
The wind is pretty calm over here in Midwood.
It's pretty bad here in Benson.
Look at the tree outside the window. The branches are not moving. But who knows?
Elizabeth Morse
5
has a
minutes
new
from
book.
now, it could change.
Sorry, I see Elizabeth Morse has a new book. Her full-length poetry collection, Unreasonable Weather, is going to be published by Kelsey Books. And she has a pre-order link. So we have 2 people with pre-order links, guys. Please support our other authors.
Okay, Gabrielle, I'll put you on the reading list. Okay.
Huh.
Oh, great. She's going to read. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to just take a little break. It's a chill in the house. I'm going to go for my coffee. Any shameless plugs, please put them in the chat, or you can unmute and schmooze. Having my coffee.
For those of you who were following me on Facebook before, I have a new profile, Harry Lime. So give me a second, I can put the link to that in the chat, and you can follow me again.
A new profile, like you were in Facebook jail like me?
Yeah. I made what I thought was a pretty mild joke about the Trump tariffs, and apparently Zuckerberg's Virgineers couldn't handle that. So
This is why I no longer post political stuff on Facebook
yeah,
and Instagram. I had to be so careful. As much as I'd love to, I can't.
yeah. So I mean, pretty much I'm on Facebook now just for events and
Go to
Messenger.
Substack and Blue Sky. You're safer there.
I'm on Blue Sky. If you wanna see Jeff Unleashed, go to Blue Sky.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I'm there.
Facebook I'm just using for events, Messenger, and occasional self promo. But give
Yeah,
me a second, I will
I'm
post
keeping it
the.
pretty vanilla.
What
And I'm
is
also staying out of some groups because there's a lot of nasty people there in some of these groups.
what is Blue Sky like? Somebody recommended that I go there.
It's very easy. They have no more more freedom of speech there.
It's Twitter for nice people.
Yeah,
Basically.
it's not as toxic like
It's like
Twitter.
Biggest
Not
drawback
run by
to me,
not run by you know who.
I don't know enough people there though.
Everybody's getting on there though.
Yeah.
It's just because X is. I still call it Twitter. I don't give it down.
Jeff, did you post your new link? Looking for it.
I'm about to, just a sec.
Okay.
And Substack is good. All the journalists are going there, and writers.
Feel like a dinosaur.
You got to. I mean, but I don't want to post anything really political on Facebook anymore.
They don't even want me posting things about music, you know. I mean, I see these this Radio Candy. They got me on a playlist, so I want to share it on my page, and I get this message. You've done too many things in too short a time. Come back later.
That's
You know,
what
and
I
I'm
had
just it's
done
like the
post.
second or third thing I've done all day. I just got here.
That's why I'm so afraid. That's why I don't post in groups anymore, and I disintegrated a lot of my pages because of the problems. I kept getting bots and everything.
Well, yeah, what I try to do is right as soon as they piss me off, then I click on the Blue Sky, because I'm on the web browser. So if they can tell, where you went to when you left the page, I don't know. They gather so much information. If they got a statistic on that, I want to be a statistic of somebody that went from Facebook to Blue Sky directly, because
I
you
was in
pissed me off.
jail for 4 months.
Yeah.
Facebook jail, and also it also was tied in with Instagram. Meta.
And PayPal. Remember we had problems. We had to set up your PayPal again for the
Yeah,
payment.
because some hacker got that. That was around the time when I was first hacked with. That was around the time, I think, close to it. I hate social media. Hey, what time is it? Oh, it's 3:43. Okay.
2 minutes.
Well,
Linda, we have 2 more minutes.
That crazy guy, Alex Jones, spread hate and everything, but
I'm here.
years ago he called it info wars. He said that's the new world war is information, and in a way he was right about that.
He is.
Okay. Anyway, we're gonna start now. You want to start, Glenda? Let
Let's
me
make
know.
sure everybody's back. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I see
Okay.
everybody, because
Glenda,
I only
Glenda's
see a
back.
face. So we told everybody 3:45. So let's give it another minute because not everyone.
Wow. Patricia, it's really windy out there. I'm watching a large tree in front of my house.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
it's very bad out here because I see from my window the trees are swaying.
Yeah.
It's coming through the windows.
Okay, hon, it's 3:45.
Okie dokie.
Yay.
Welcome back to Brownstone Poets, everybody. Thank you for sticking around this windy March winds. Yeah, March comes in like a lion. Hopefully you leave like a lamb if anything's possible these days. Okay, we're going to have Glenda Pickens. Glenda Pickens, known by her pen name Rashida, is a celebrated writer of poetry, short stories, and children's literature. Inspired by the 1960s social justice movements and icons like Nikki Giovanni and Gil Scott Heron, her work explores societal issues, emotions, and nature while uplifting readers with creativity and life lessons. Her writing has been featured in esteemed publications, including Brownstone Poets Anthologies 2022, 2024, and upcoming also. And London's Butterfly Fand Anthology 2023. Her upcoming poetry collections, Family Matters of the Heart and Soul and Keeping It Real 2025, highlights her dedication to fostering connection and change through the literary arts. Let's give a warm Brownstone welcome to Glenda Pickens. Take it away, girl.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for Patricia and Roxanne for inviting me to be a feature for Black History Month and Women's History Month. And also to my fellow poets, Martina and Kim. It's glad to see you love your work. It's a pleasure to be sharing today. I'll be reading poems from my 2 upcoming books of poetry, Family Matters of Heart and Soul, and Keeping It Real. The first poem I'm reading is a dedication to AJ, a poem for AJ, the young woman who was killed defending her children. AJ, what does it stand? What does stand your ground mean when you have 4 babies to feed? Help me, someone, to understand this hatred that has surfaced in our land. But is that a fair evaluation of what really happens in this nation? Why did she get added to the list, a young woman just trying to exist? Taking care of her beautiful kids, defending them to the end. There are laws constantly being created to protect a certain privileged population, allowing murders, cruel and premeditated, leaving families shattered and defeated. Watching AJ's mother, my heart aches, seeing the pain and grief in her face. Now we have another generation filled with the terror of this nation. Children wailing without their mother, filled with clinging to their other sisters and brothers. All because you didn't like the color of their skin. So, when will hate end and love your neighbor begin? That right there is the $1,000,000 question. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Miss Nina Simone, because you were known to speak your mind. I appreciate you, Mr. Marvin Gaye, because you brought truth with your sexy way. I appreciate you, Mr. Curtis Mayfield, because you were the epitome of chill. I appreciate you, Mr. Richard Pryor, because you were comedy with power. I appreciate you, Miss Aretha Franklin, because you were a soulful giant. I appreciate you, Miss Lena Horne, because you were born to pave the way. I appreciate you, Miss Maya Angelou, because you always knew. I appreciate you, Mr. James Baldwin, because you spoke volumes. I appreciate you, Mr. Langston Hughes, because you wrote about the blues. I appreciate you, Miss Nikki G, because you were an inspiration to me. These are just a few Black people who made a difference. If you don't know who they be, understand they made history. Appreciate it. My next poem, entitled Peace, is in one of the, I think the first Brownstone anthology that I wrote for. It's entitled Peace. Peace is a leaf falling from a tree in the middle of winter, taken by a strong wind to a destination, swirling and flying like a kite high in the sky. Sunsets in the desert where sky meets earth, rainbow colors touch each other, making love, creating loud noises of thunder under the leadership of the Creator. Long drives along the beach, watching the waves beat against the shore, knocking on the door, wanting more space but knowing it can't go further, as it was told from the beginning of time. Being me, writing a plethora of poems, traveling along a winding road, soothing my soul with freshness beyond the air I breathe, to be free. Children playing in a field of poppy flowers as the color of orange warms their skin, running until they can't breathe, lying down on the ground, looking up at the sky, wondering why it all is. Peace is hope personified beyond the human mind into the spirit of his being for eternity. Okay, my next poem is dedicated to Mrs. Mamie Till, Emmett Till's mother, and also for Black History Month and Women's History Month. There was an open mouth crying and wailing where no sound comes forth, a depth of pain with tears flowing into open lilies and flowers created by God. You couldn't stand on your own 2 feet as your knees were so weak, and you fell into the dark abyss of undeserved sorrow. Could the loud whistle sound of the train explain your pain to the ones who took him from you into a filthy river of blood and torture, screaming, "Boy, who you think you are?" I was a young girl and wondered when I looked at the photo if I could speak to your soul in a prayer or send a letter to ease the pain, because hopes and dreams for him, who was only 14, were shattered and could not be put back together. All of Chicago and the world heard the words. I want the world to see what they did to my baby. Although the world saw the tragedy of this massacre in the magazines Jet and Ebony, they also witnessed the men go free, as it happened many years before and since 1863. They threatened your life, but you pushed on. They mocked and called you ugly names, but you pushed on. You never backed down, but stood your ground. And when the verdict was announced, it continued to reveal the racist face of the United States. Miss Mamie, Mrs. Mamie, I will never forget what happened to your son. And when I'm reminded of his fate, I remember what you endured and how your faith made you secure. My wail is in the poem I write, to say you held on to do a great work, fighting for your son and others who would come later in our mission for freedom. Mrs. Mamie, beautiful Mrs. Mamie, your name and words will live on forever in the heart and minds of your own kind. And because of the love for your son, it will live on in history for all time. Thank you, Mrs. Mamie. This next poem I wrote when I was taking a poetry of resistance workshop with J.P. Howard, and before the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And I do have to give a trigger warning. It's a high bun with a haiku at the end, and it's entitled No Choice, Her Blood. I was not familiar with the bird species I was observing on the beach that beautiful sunny day, so I Googled it. Bird species you can see on Southern California beaches include pelicans, gulls, sanderlings, and numerous shorebirds. While I was watching them entertain and soothe my soul, I felt her touch my shoulder. She asked me to go with her down to the dark bottom of the ocean floor so we can destroy the new shark that is coming to take choices away, like it happened to her back in the day. She is my BFF and I love her, but what was this newfound mystery forming inside her mouth, whose lips are always ruby red? She never told me this part of the story, although I've known her many days and nights through the pain of her remembering the man and the people who changed her life. She told me it was a funky smelling bedspread inside a room with orange walls, and the woman said, "Raise your legs up high so I can get inside and take away what your man don't want, 'cause he already got some he can't feed. You lucky he found me to help you." My bestie said, "I wonder why God created the beast of the ocean that devours the smaller fish and regurgitates them, as she did the next day from her womb, and the toilet bowl became the mainstay for fingers and toes because the law said you can't go to a clean place with sterile white walls and soft blue gowns, but to a room in the back in the corner in the dark where babies never live." All the while she knew her plight was like Ntozake Shange wrote, for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough, and the lady in blue has her legs spread open, and she couldn't bear to have people looking at her while she got an abortion. So she is all alone. The new shark is being praised by the old boys on the Hill. Senator Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, said, "This is the first time in American history we've nominated a woman who is unashamedly pro-life and embraces her faith without apology." Great white sharks have serrated blade-like upper and lower teeth. She cried a river that night, which ran through the open wounds of remembering and haunted her visions not related to sugar plums dancing in her head. I held her in my broken arms of helplessness, trying to soothe the harsh sounds of her dreading heart, as she thought, where do we go from here? Back to the orange walls or the white? The loud sounds of death running down her legs, blood of her blood on the floor. My next poem is political. It's entitled Political Climate. This political climate is a virtual hurricane, tornado, tsunami, and 9.0 earthquake, because we have someone insane in the White House running this country like a dictator, all for his pleasure. But we ain't seen nothing yet. Getting rid of jobs, messing with lives, starting with those in equity, diversity, and inclusion positions, all at his behest. We ain't seen nothing yet. We were somewhat calm in the last 4 years, and we hoped it would continue. But before they would elect a woman, especially one of color, to run this country, they elected a misogynist, thief, sexual abuser, accused felon, bully, racist, a crazy, insane fool. But we ain't seen nothing yet. He's just getting started. And to think some people thought The Handmaid's Tale was just a novel, and then television series, but we ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, but amongst his other lies, he convinced voters he had nothing to do with Project 2025. But any person with sense knows that is a bunch of nonsense. But we ain't seen nothing in handcuffs, separating families and loved ones, not you're just following in the footsteps of your ancestors. This documented in the history of this country, but we ain't seen nothing yet. This new administration is not prejudiced. It has something for everybody, not only the poor and deprived, but it's also going to affect veterans and workers, air service, judicial system, Social Security, Medicare, schools, etc., etc., etc. But we ain't seen nothing yet. The people are rising up because of all the budget cuts. Are we talking about a revolution, which could be the solution? But we ain't known about what has happened in the last 40 days. But if you read, watch television, or any, so I'm just going to stop right here and say, chop, 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 chop. WTF, we ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, my last poem is called Did They Hear? A tribute to Gil Scott-Heron, poet extraordinaire. I saw you walking toward me and it took me by surprise when you asked, did they hear when I said the revolution will not be televised? Did they hear when I said it's winter in America? Did they hear when I said a sign of the ages or get out of the ghetto blues? Did they hear when I said Lady Day and John Coltrane would wash their troubles away? Did they hear when I said home is where the hatred is? Did they hear when I said the prisoner needs to be heard? Did they hear when I said Bobby Smith was a warrior? Did they hear when I said a vulture in our culture? Did they hear when I said no knock head rock? Did they hear when I said evolution is a flashback? Did they hear when I said history is a weapon? Did they hear when I said save the children? Did they hear when I said work for peace? Because there ain't no peace, there ain't no freedom without peace. When you walked away and I saw only your shadow, I heard you whisper, sister, did they hear? Did they hear? Did they hear? I screamed, I'm sorry, Mr. Gill, they didn't hear. And I fell down on my knees and wept. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was powerful. What great readers today. And we still have more great reading coming up on the open. Okay, we're going to finish up with the open, guys. So we have Caroline, Mike Jakovic, Jack Cooper, Peter Kozlowski, Mira, Gabriella, me, and Roxy. Okay, Caroline, unmute and share. Keep it to 3 minutes, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, here I am. Thank you again, Patricia and Roxy, and most of all, thank you to all the other readers today. I'm really uplifted. But after some very powerful poems, this is a meditation and is very personal because mourning deaths in the family, a very sudden death recently, and some other ones before that we question why. So this is meditation. Death has come for us, reaching out of darkness to take away the finest in their moment of prime. We are a community of love and family and lives of purpose. Why, then, in this universe of home, should life end early? Why? We ask the stars that spread out in the night sky. Now the astronomers tell us there are more and more and billions of other galaxies with stars and planets and space without limits. Only we humans are limited. Our lives come to an end, early or late. So we hold that our spirits rise to go and find another home to dwell in and to wait for one another. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. We get Mike Jakovic, please unmute and share.
Okay, you got it. I'm gonna try and do two. This one is called the one. First, I want to thank Glenda and Kim and Martina. That was awesome. Thank you guys. The one about the girl who balances ecosystems. An echo through Denmark worms into my ear like that song about something from the 70s. Its groove, its beat, its harmonies heard as God's casino welcomes the herd. It is the theme to that show about the girl who balances ecosystems. It prowls like evolution in the back of your ear. It plays in your head, plays in your head, plays in your head, plays at festivals that sell pretty weapons. An echo through Denmark sure gets around. And this is called, I'm sure we've all had our episodes with rice getting all over the place. So this is called Dad's Old Cudgel. As a metaphor for the human criteria suspected since childhood to come crawling from a grave, rice defies gravity. It just does. Whether cooked at home, jasmine, bamba, or ordered in, pork fried, forbidden, makes no diff, no matter. Put a spoon, a fork, ladle into grandma's moonstone bowl, and a handful of wild grain gonna scatter to the counter. The floor, your negligee, dad's old cudgel, arboreal, sticky, parboiled sweet, on the wall, stuck to the spoon, the sponge, of course. You clean up, but there's more. Glutinous short grain over by the teapot 6 feet away. Rice on the cat. Splashback wall. Buffy's teacup. Basmati, baby. All over the goddamn place. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have Jack is next. And then we got Peter, Amira, Richard. I think I got all the people because a lot of people are leaving, whatever. Mira, I think I mentioned Mira and Richard.
I'm here.
And also I mentioned Gabriella and myself and Roxanne. Okay. Jack, take it away.
I'm unmuted. Thanks to Kim and Martina and Glenda and all the readers, and of course to you, Patricia, and you, Roxanne. I'd also like to call attention to my latest aphorism, which I've posted and I've put it in the chat. I have 3 short poems, the first of which is called Passing Fancy. Young and dark, a woman, no longer a girl, the curves that formed her, taut and low, but delicate. I saw her running, fugitive in my dream. She stopped. She seemed confused, as if she knew it, knew where she had been caught, and ignorant which way should she turn, else lose the light of earth, except to me. And this is Precipitate. Rain stains the pavement, illuminated holes, reflected from above, show constellated drops, the pittances of sorrow that beat time with a waiting car, its emergency lights turning off and on. And this is March. Thought clouds, mood descends in shadow when any containing her passes over. And yet, betimes, some sudden radiance will out, revitalizing a perfect abridgment of March. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jack from Paris. Okay, take it away, Peter Kozlowski. After Peter, we're going to have Amira. Going through this list. Richard, Gabriella, me, and Roxy. I think I got everybody in. Okay, take it away.
Hi, am I on?
Yes, you're on. Thank you.
I'd like to read a poem by our late friend J.D. Rage. Apologies to Dr. McGowan, who's I am Rage, but in J.D.'s case, the D was for death, Janet Death Rage. And the poem is from her book. She rode a bus from her apartment in the Lower East Side to a job in Lower Manhattan, and wrote a poem on a bus every day, and it put it out in a collection called, you can see that, Devotions and Desecrations on the Downtown Bus. And this is called Devotion number 21. City Hall is smiling at me. Her mouth is wide open, lit by spotlights, raised on eyebrows of 3 draperies lined up in a row over tall banks of windows. She sticks out her tongue, an imaginary red carpet tumbling down granite stairs between toothy columns. In spite of how she mocks me now, I think of all the dirty deals, corruption, maybe even plots to kill she has harbored in her gut. In spite of her undesirable history in a rough neighborhood, the golden glow, bathed in nature's artistry, heightened by the cold, crisp atmosphere, makes her elegant. Makes me wish she was something I could be proud of. Thank you, JD. Thanks, Patty.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Amira, please unmute. And after Amira, we're going to have Richard, Gabriella, me, and Roxy. Okay? Amira, take it away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Good. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here always. I have 2 poems for today. The first one is titled, If I Could Be a Red Rose. If I could be a red rose adorned with pearly dewdrop tears, dripping over the petals of my regretful soul, to untie the deep knots of entangled roots and polish the rough edges tired of burning flames. If I could soak myself into its fragrance, swim, dance, and get drunk with its freedom, and feel as content as the earth with the sun. If I could hug my own soul as the most precious gem and never tear away the love, if I could, I would be a red rose today. The next poem is Here I Am. Here I am, a whole being like you, enclosed in this fragile skin, a vessel of flesh and bone, dwelling in Dharma's dawn. My thoughts, like yours, plunge into the deep, dress me in extremes, wisdom, brilliance, and madness sweep. At times, they bend me, a willow's grace, or shatter me, a crystal vase. Other moments, they bind us close, transforming us to an unshakable post. No tremor can unseat. Yet, as twilight fades, we're fooled by the dark, questioning our own spark. How did each of us blaze, unique from the maternal divine dome? Why did we venture here? Some on sands of burning fire, others carving trenches deep, inscribing paths through earth's mire, until we, so mysteriously, are held in a place unknown to meet the final breath in the silence we have sown. I have another short one, but if we have time, if not, that's fine.
Keep it very short, thank you.
An irreparable being. They say I'm a hopeless being because I'm in love with horizons. These flirtations, murmurs, rustling between the blue lips of the sky and sea. They say I have remained the same, irreparable, because I marvel at the shores, these eternal hosts where the waves rampage as flippant thoughts. And I, oh me, a thunderous dreamer, wrapped with their aroma, worship each virgin moment. Thank you for Christmas. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Richard, unmute and share. And after Richard, we're going to have Gabriella, myself, and Roxanne. Take it away, Richard.
Thank you. This little piece combines both Black History and Women's History Month. It's a story of two very, very noble women who stood up to a tyrant president who tried to blackmail them. A mother and daughter alone. Like standing stones, this mother and daughter alone withstood the pressure of a cracked vessel. Do you know what it's like to go to bed at night knowing the president of a whole nation has stopped and dropped on your head from his high station? The scoundrel bounder named you and blamed you for doing your work during the COVID alert. He called out your name, claimed you were to blame with a vicious snarling shout from his ruddy, muddy, red-limbed, greedy mouth. He called your name and said you're to the blame for his loss, claimed and defamed you and your mom, throwing a bomb of hate at your grandmother's gate, blaming her for the cost of his loss. He placed a bomb and a price on your head, stealing sleep from your bed. The FBI came and told her to fly for a month or two, noting that doting. What naughty could they do? The local cops, worthless too, dropped and never stopped. The thugs even harassed her grandma. Into their house they rushed, determined to avenge their deranged boss and cost the loss. Where's the cops? The FBI wise guys knew of the attack. Did they protect you or neglect you? The charges fled. Sadly, denial. They could protect you. What did they really do? They promised to neglect you. And when the president selected you for blame, the gargantuan what's-his-name, when the hoodlums he sent came around to terrorize your town, you just did your job and helped your neighbors to vote. Now the president himself has sent them to your throat. He told them these lies to attack you and distract who? You left on your own. No surprise, no one to phone. When the Klan came around, best get out of town. Again, what did they do to draw this heat? What was their crime? They told the story complete and well within memory back a few years when voting was a crime. How they worked on the vote to help their neighbors get in the boat and load in just in time. Violent threats on election workers are too common. These furious fascists would just as soon bomb them. We must stand with these caring civic workers who saw their duty despite COVID, and even when the fascists closed in, don't let them suffer. This brave mother and daughter. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. And welcome, Gabriella.
Hi, thank you.
Women's Writers in Bloom.
To the Zoom survivors, it's been a long session, so thanks for people for sticking around. Okay, I'm gonna read my poem is called How to Be a Pearl Diver. How to be a pearl diver. 1. Woo the ocean's waves, memorize their crests, till you can walk in the rhythm, their rise and fall, even on dry land. 2. Practice holding your breath. Set a timer, increase it by 15 seconds every day. When you make it to 6 minutes, gild yourself with a swell of iridescent sequins. 3. Change your diet. Eat oysters, seaweed, and snails. Allow your tongue to get lost in the undertow of taste. Your narrow throat a channel of the sea. 4. Play truth or dare, only answer dare. Without hesitation, accept each challenge, like the one to scale down to sparkled skin and lie in the middle of the moon's shadow. 5. Take long, salted baths. Let water be as familiar on your skin as air. 6. Practice diving into the couch, resplendent with pillows, your lover, wet from rain, your most intricate woes. 7. Become fearless. Haven't you already lost the most important thing? And it looks like I have time for maybe one more quick one. I'm not done my 3 minutes, so I'm going to read a poem called Grenada. It's spelled Grenata, and it starts with an epigraph. One never knew when the state would start screaming that this world or that was an attempt on its security, and that's Malang Kundera. There's a word in my grandparents' language that is used when asking for the mysterious juicy fruit, lipstick red on the outside, and also to describe a weapon of war. In Floridian elementary schools, it's forbidden to say the word gay. I imagine myself being forced away from a blackboard in handcuffs in that sunny state, howling those 3 happy letters. 2 of my son's kindergarten besties plan to marry and have children. With only eggs between them, they've chosen my child as their sperm donor. Tell me again how a word is bad. Fuck that. Say anything. Read everything, especially the books that are banned. Let language hatch ideas into real thinking people, some with vaginas. It isn't safe to walk that barbed fence trench with muzzled mouth and barricaded ears. I knife open the chambered fruit, find a barrack of seeds, hundreds of exotic orbs ready to launch between the attack of teeth. My mouth ready to lead a revolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Okay, now it's my turn. It's all political. This first poem was just published a few days ago in the New Verse News. When pens run dry. When pens run dry and keyboards break down. When lips are sealed and hands and feet turn numb. When polarization hits all forms of intelligence and emotions function only to exist. Then we become data to feed the mainframe's program. Each movement, thought pattern, monitored and regulated daily. A program to be upgraded by the whims of a certain elite. The prophecies of Orwell, Atwood, and Huxley. 1984 is now. We are the handmaid's tale. Welcome to your brave new world. And last, written about the wonderful meeting at the Oval Office. Zelensky visits the White House haiku. I'm going to repeat it twice because it's haiku. Or Oval Office pig plays gaslight poker. Putin in the hole. Or Oval Office pig plays gaslight poker. Putin in the hole. Schoolyard politics. Grown men gang up on leadership. Schoolyard politics. Grown men gang up on leadership. A real hero doesn't wear a suit. Slava Ukraini. A real hero doesn't wear a suit. Slava Ukraini. Okay, then who's going to end it all is Roxanne Hoffman. Take it away, girl. Roxy, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm going to read a poem from a workshop. Too hot to stick around. The constant lick of flames, scorched earth, the flying, fleeting. No rest, no rest. Where am I? The smoke is blinding, the fire deafening, the constant crackling, and then nothing. I see a way. The sky remains free. I fly. Where am I? From high above, I see what remains, my past, my future. There is another town, always to land, to make a nest. Where am I? That's it. That's from a workshop.
That's it? Huh. Okay. Oh my goodness. That's it. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay. We come to the end and come back at the end of this month now because I can't say because today's March 1st. And hopefully we'll have less windy weather and less problems in the world. March 29th, we're going to have Broadstone Books here for Brownstone Poets. Gerald Wagner, Lynn McGee, Hilary Sedaris. I want to give a warm Brownstone thank you to our featured readers today. That's Kim Brandon, Martina McGowan, Glenda Pickens, the open mic, my right arm, my left arm, Roxanne Harper, my Zoomeister, myself, my brain, whatever, and my job for calling me back. And let's keep writing, keep positive, keep our fingers crossed, because together we will make it happen.
Yeah, and just reminding everybody that March is also Small Press Month. So support your fellow writers and buy their books, especially if they're coming from a small press, which is one of the reasons we have so many friends who recently published by Broadstone. So we're going to honor them and honor small presses at the end of the month.
That's great news. Congratulations for all the things you do. It's really terrific.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you,
you all.
everybody. We
Everybody.
made it. We made it this day.
Take
Enjoy
care.
the
Bye,
rest of the
everyone.
weekend.
Everybody, stay
Bye.
safe.
Thanks,
Keep
everyone.
fighting the good fight.
Yes.
Keep
Thank
writing.
you.
Thank
That's
you.
it. We need our words to make things happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Way to
Absolutely.
do it.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Roxanne.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to end the meeting, Patty.
Yeah.